Okay, so quick look at things in the aftermath of the US election. Obviously, I don't need to tell you who won. Um, I can't say I'm that surprised. It's kind of felt like it had the same sort of pattern to it as the whole Brexit vote. The markets have actually been okay. They did sell off a bit this afternoon. We'll take a look at the FTSE first. Um, I was up about 4:30 London time, um, sort of watching the futures overnight. I guess that's about 11:30, isn't it, New York time? The FTSE futures got down to about 65, just above 6,500, all the way down to this sort of level. But by the open, it was really rallying back hard. It did test. In my previous video, we looked at this sort of potential head and shoulders pattern forming here. So it did test this neckline, but I mean it got really heavily bought. After that, had some follow through today, and then we've had quite a steep sell off this afternoon. Now, keep watching. I don't know if this could potentially be some sort of right shoulder for a breakdown here. It respected this sort of little downtrend line here, and got sold pretty hard. It was the highs were up at just short of 7,000. It got sold pretty hard at that point. It's quite a big reversal today, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. The one sort of kicker I would say to that, and the American markets are up a lot at the moment. It's about 6:30 now, London time. Is that I was sort of chatting with my broker earlier, late afternoon on the FTSE, and what they were saying was if you look at the spike in yields on bonds, they reckon what was happening in the UK market, which is a lot more yield in gilts, was that the pension funds seem to be rotating out of some of the sort of solid high dividend paying UK shares that they're holding and rotating some cash into the bonds. So obviously bonds are seen as a safer investment than shares. So what we've seen in some stocks, in particular, if we look down here, the bottom right, United Utilities, National Grid, these are two sort of good solid utilities companies here in the UK. The good businesses, they pay good dividends. They're not particularly volatile stocks, so they don't move a huge amount, but they're, in terms of what the pension funds would see, they're a very safe bet. But we've seen obviously this big down move in United Utilities here. Similarly, National Grid, we've seen this big move from the highs down here. Now, I mean, I'm going to be watching these very carefully in the next day or two. I think these may be good opportunities in these shares. There's not a sort of a screaming fundamental reason to worry about these stocks. I think they're good companies, and yeah, if it is just sort of a rotation out of them in the shorter term, I think there's going to be some interest in people buying these sort of shares again. Yeah, I'll have a quick look at the American markets. The S&P. It's I mean, the American market's a lot more buoyant than the UK markets. Wall Street's up about 1% at the moment. Sorry, the Dow's up about 1% at the moment. The S&P's not quite in the same, having the same sort of day. But I mean, we look here, respected this 200-day moving average, and then I mean, it was in the aftermath of the election result yesterday. It was still very bullish. I mean, my take on the whole thing, for what it's worth, is that I think the markets recognise that Trump is pro-business and he wants lower taxes, and I think behind the sort of all the political gaffes and whatnot, I think that he's also talked about the need for America to balance their books and get their deficit under control. I think they see that, behind the sort of craziness, there's somebody there who should be should be on the side of business, and should be, sort of in a positive, seen in a positive light, for the market. So, but time will tell on that. That remains to be seen. So, looking forward to tomorrow. I mean, in terms of things to watch, I'm going to be watching National Grid and United Utilities in the UK very, very closely. A couple of shares I have been watching in the US is Bed Bath and Beyond. Now, this has been in a long sort of, if you look, it's been a long sort of downtrend. Um, it's been sort of steadily heading in that sort of direction. It's formed this sort of, I guess it's kind of like a hollow sort of bottom or a rounded sort of bottom formation. He has sold a little bit off, but I mean it's been a really positive couple of days, a really positive break back through the 50-day. If it's a really positive break, or maybe even a small gap up above the 200-day, I'm going to be looking to trade Bed Bath and Beyond. Maybe buy some calls on it, because if it is the start of a new, especially if it breaks, if it breaks these sort of highs here, I mean, it's been in a, this could be a sort of reversal pattern. So I'm going to be watching Bed Bath and Beyond pretty closely in the next few days, the next few weeks, and similarly Whole Foods, which is, I mean, the chart looks kind of similar to Bed Bath and Beyond. The down move here had a recovery. It's traded down pretty aggressively in these sort of channels, and then it's had this sort of rounding bottom, and it's found a base just short of $30. It's tried to get the sort of golden cross here. It's gone back down, but again, there's been some good buying in the last couple of days. And I mean, let's wait and see if it can get above the 200-day and then break above what's this sort of level, around $35. I think that may be another stock that may come into play in the not too distant future.